Hello, welcome to the Draft Talk podcast. We're back as we do, talking all things NFL draft. I'm your host Brian, and as ever, these two legends are with me today. It's Owen and Stu. How are you doing, guys?
Yeah, very excited, Brian. Apart from scouting offensive linemen, what we're going to do today is one of my favourite things to do, not least in part because I get to annoy Owain with picks at times, so it should be good fun.
Yeah, mock drafts are always fun, but I've got a feeling with post combine, things have changed a bit, and I'm ready to get weird. I'll be completely honest. That the debate between positional, do you take positional value? No, we're just. I think everything's out the window now. Yeah, this could be wildly different to what most people see in mock drafts.
Indeed, indeed, yes. Things have become clearer, but also less clear at the same time. Good fun. We're going to stick with the same order that we did a couple of weeks ago. So Owen is going first, then Stu, then myself. So let's get rolling. Owen, you're the first to pick. Of course, that is the Raiders. Who you going to pick at number one? Don't get too weird.
Yeah, yeah. I said weird. We're not getting that weird. It's going to be
Not
Fernando
insane.
Mendoza. That yeah. Let's not mess about. Um, the Raiders should be happy with that pick. I'm sorry, Raiders fans, that I can't be more exciting for you. Maybe one day we'll do a 2 round mock draft if we can find a couple of hours on a Sunday afternoon to get round to doing that. So you get a more exciting pick. But look, you should be happy with Mendoza. Is it exciting to have on your team? But yeah, there's no point hanging about. We know who's going number one.
There we go. Nice start for us. And as always, to start us off, Stu's muted himself. So
It's okay. I was testing.
testing,
Mm.
testing, nailed it. Stu, is yourself. Keep yourself unmuted. With pick number two, the Jets.
Okay, this is where we could start to get a little bit spicier, a little bit different, and I am going to pick linebacker Sonny Styles.
He's gone already.
It's gone, and I'm going to explain why.
Good.
Um, the I think the debate here will be is it Arvell Reese is the number two pick, or one of the other edge rushers, and the kind of thought for me was if it's Arvell Reese, are we sure he's an edge rusher? Are we 100% sure? And is he going to be picked at number two? If he's not, and he's a linebacker, I feel Sonny Styles is a better linebacker. But also, I think the Jets are in a position where they have they're not going to be turned around tomorrow. They're in a bit of a long build, and it sounds a bit cliche, but you're going to get high class edge rushers nearly every year.
Yeah.
We've seen that over years as the drafts have gone by. There's been guys, there's been Will Anderson, there's been Aiden Hutchinson, on and on and on. You don't get many Sonny Styles. And in this draft, where there maybe isn't that blue chip talent, he is one. And I think he could be a transformative player on defense if you get the things right for the Jets. So that's why I've gone for him.
I think that's completely fair. If he wasn't going here, I've got a feeling he might have gone three to the Cardinals because he's that defensive leadership centerpiece that you've got. He's a chess piece. He can do everything, but I think immediately what he offers with you is just maturity and leadership for a defense that maybe lacks it at times. That you can slot him straight in and think, right, this is going to be our focal piece for the future, and we can almost build around that, even if it isn't a premium position. But the best players in this class aren't from premium positions. I've got the blue chip players. I've got six. I mean, and you're looking at maybe two from premium positions. So you could argue if they have a higher value on Reese, then they value him as an edge rusher, then that would maybe be a better value pick. But I really don't think it matters. Like, Sonny Styles could go two to the Jets. It's really not inconceivable.
Yep. Talent poor team gets a lot of talent there, so it does make sense. Now it's myself at three with the Cardinals. A team that I don't think we're doing trades, but a team that I don't think would mind trading down a bit. Need some offensive line
Yeah.
help, and maybe this is a bit too rich right now. But still, they're another talent poor team, so I think they're going to take the next best player on the board. We're sticking with the Ohio State linebackers. We'll go Arvell Reese for the Cardinals. Not the biggest need, but maybe the best player.
Yeah, but if you're going to play, they have a big linebacker need. So if they're comfortable, and they evaluate him better as a linebacker, then I was saying that we were saying about Sonny Styles at number 2. I think you could apply the same logic here with Alvarez, that they have a big need at linebacker, and whether it's Sonny Styles, Alvarez, I think they're both in play here for the Cardinals. And if I was drafting and picking for either of them, I probably would have done the same thing.
Lovely stuff. Yourself with the Texans at 4.
Titans.
Indeed. Titans, sorry.
There's so many ways you can go here. Talking through it's far too early for wide receiver here for me. I'm coming round to I think wide receivers could be going later than we maybe imagined. Edge is on the table. Do they leg David Bailey? Far too early for corner. It's too early for offensive line for me as well. I'm debating between David Bailey or do they just take a punt on Jeremiah Love? I think it could
like it.
Does that, if we're thinking that Jeremiah Love is of the same vein as a Bijan Robinson, a Saquon Barkley, we think he's better than he was who went to the Raiders last year.
Ashton
Jeanty. Then why not? I think we're taking him too late, to be honest with you. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to give them running back, and an elite running back at that. Look, positional value is just out of the window in this draft, especially early on. You've just got to take the good players and the best players. He's a blue chip player, so yeah, I'm going Jeremiah Love, who for many people think is the best player in this draft. So why not pair him with Cam Ward?
And I think you've talked about some of their needs that they have. Edge rusher, wide receiver. They're going to pick high on day 2. You can get good value there as well. You ain't getting Jeremiah Love, however, on day 2, or nothing close to it. So, and you want to build up that offense, take some of the pressure off Cam Ward as well as he's developing as a quarterback. I could see it being a thing.
Yeah, and it's sticking what we've seen in the last, like you say, last few draft. Jeanty, everyone was like, he'll go middle of the draft. Nope, nice and early to a team that maybe didn't suit him at the time, but we'll see how that works out. So yeah, maybe not too surprising. Stu, yourself, pick number 5 with the Giants.
Giants is an interesting one. They've got a lot of needs that I think they can address later on. Again, we've talked about wide receiver for the Giants to pair up, but I think there's a lot of talent. Are they a team that could think about jumping back up at the bottom end of round 1 if there's somebody there that they like? They do still need offensive line help. I think the Andrew Thomas has been a standout for them. Playing at right tackle is so. The issue was Jermaine Illumina. Their offensive lines, I said about being in the middle. John Michael Smith hasn't been what they wanted to be. Evan Neal has been a disaster. So I do think they need offensive line help, and I'm going to go with a buzzy pick, as I said. Monroe Freeling is the real buzzy pick at the moment to have gone rocketing up draft boards. Really athletic, true tackle in a class where we're not sure we've got 100% true tackles. So yeah, let's go for it. Let's plug him in and put him on the opposite side from Andrew Thomas, and let's go with that.
It's early for me, I have to say. I'm not sure I can particularly get on board with it. I'm sure you feel the same way. But the noise coming out of the combine is that this guy is looking like
if he doesn't go there, I think he would go the next pick.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's myself with the Browns picking at 6. Yeah, in need of offensive line. Quite a few needs for the Browns, obviously. Picking at 6. Yeah, let's have a look. I might have gone there. I think I'm going to go. Do it. David Bailey, the edge from Texas Tech.
Ooh.
A lot of buzz about him. Not the hugest need. He's got Myles Garrett, but someone you compare with him, I think it kind of works. Can they get an offensive line with a second pick later on in his route?
Yeah, him and Myles Garrett would be
that's where I'm going.
Very, very difficult tandem to deal with. coming off the edge. And he is a player I really like and rank really highly. So, yeah.
David Bailey.
Can see where that one comes from.
Yourself, Iron, with the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, I know we spoke about this on the last mock as well, but they allowed the most passing yards in the NFL in 2025, so attack and defense completely makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe looked at wide receiver. Could Kenyon Sadiq be getting the mix here? Although it would be rich for me. Ruben Bain sitting there as well. I think they better be enticed by him, but I'm going Caleb Downs. I think he's a blue chip prospect in this class. He maybe didn't have the athletic testing that you would expect or that others had, but I really don't care, because what he gives you in terms of mental traits and range and coverage, and just being able to do it all, that just far outweighs that. So yeah, I'm going Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State, at 7 for the Commanders.
Yeah, the Commanders just need to get better on defense, wherever that might be, and if they have Caleb Downs as one of these blue chip prospects, which could well be absolutely for them, it makes sense to take him here.
Yep, some injury questions coming out from the combine, but imagine all the doctors will have done their inspections and they'll know by then. Stu, back to you at 8 with the Saints.
Okay, I mentioned him in the last one. Ruben Bain, I think, is going to be who I'm going to take for the Saints here. Really, really good player. I think he's been forgotten about a little bit. There's been a lot of buzz around all these other guys. I think he's still a really, really good edge prospect. We've heard about Cam Jordan might not be coming back to the Saints as well. He's been a long-standing stalwart on their defensive line. So it is a need for them, and I think we don't let Ruben Bain get outside the top 10. I think he's too good a player for that, and let's give him to the New Orleans Saints.
Myself with the Chiefs, who can't pick Jeremiah Love because he's long gone. So mock drafters everywhere will have to have a rethink. Freddie Ray, Trent McDuffie, so corner becomes a bit of a need. I'm going to go a little bit weird with all the combine hype. I'm going Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end.
Ooh.
Whether or not Jason Kelsey comes back, he's a busy marrying a billionaire. But yeah, incredibly athletic. He can eventually take over from Kelsey, maybe sooner rather than later. They'll figure something out for a year together. And it gives Mahomes a pretty special weapon. I think you guys did a really good job the other week saying these receivers maybe aren't super special, or maybe they don't go receiver there. So yeah, help Mahomes out with a nice new tight end.
Full transparency, I think that the Kansas City Chiefs are one of the teams that I wouldn't be surprised if they had somebody they really, really wanted, that top few, who might be the team that might think about trading up a little bit.
Yep.
They have gathered up a huge amount of ammunition now. They've got a lot of picks. They got a heap of later round picks for the Trent McDuffie trade. They might not have their eye on somebody that they really like, but if they think that they can get in amongst that top few picks for someone they really want, I think they're one of the teams that could do it. But if not, yeah, there's lots of different ways they could go with pick 9.
Yeah, it's difficult to know where Sadiq will land here. It feels early. It's rich for me as well. I don't evaluate him as the type of prospect who should be going top 10. The production and the traits, that's the argument, isn't it, right? You saw what he could do at the combine, that this is one of the most athletic tight ends that we've ever seen, but his production level at Oregon maybe didn't match the hype that we've got coming out. But there's every chance this happens in this draft. If all it takes is for a team to fall in love with a prospect, and that athletic testing is very, very enticing.
Indeed. Okay, on with the Cincinnati Bengals.
It's got to be defense, right? Every time we talk about
don't
the
pick
Bengals,
a wide receiver.
Yeah. It's got. You look at the needs, and it's it's just defense, whether it's linebacker, corner, safety, edge, defensive tackle. It's also
all of them.
Yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm very, very tempted by Oliver Vega Ioane in this spot, because if they think that he's a blue chip player, then why not? But I think we've got to be true to what we think is going to happen, and so I think it'll be a defensive player, and I'm going to go for Mansour Delane, the corner from LSU. The corner class, we haven't got round to rankings yet. It's a strong corner class, especially on day 2, so teams can wait. But with players missing out on time, we'll get to him when he eventually goes. That I think Mansour Delane is the clear number 1, and if you want him, teams are going to have to go early, because there might be a little bit of a drop off after Mansour Delane in terms of when the next one goes.
Yeah, they just need to have a really good defensive prospect coming in there. They've tried with the likes of Miles Murphy and Shamar Stewart, and it hasn't really worked out. So they just need to keep loading up and trying to get something to happen. So yeah, they sniped me a little bit.
Yeah, I think our faces told 1,000 pictures, whatever the phrase is. But yeah, me and Stu were a bit upset there. So Stu, it's yourself picking for your very own Miami Dolphins at 11.
Yeah, in a bit of a rebuild mode here in Miami. Don't really know what's going to happen with the quarterback situation. The defensive secondary is not very good. Their offensive line is very good either, and currently plugged. Savannah did come on a little bit as the year kind of went on, but they've got Cole Strange plugged into play at guard, which I'm not in love with. So I'm going to keep him in Miami, and I'm going to take Francis Mauigoa. Play him inside at guard. Really strong player. Let's build up a good offensive line for Miami. Austin Jackson's been all right at right tackle. Patrick Paul's been way better than I thought he was going to be at left tackle. So Mauigoa, let's take him, keep him in Miami, keep him at home, and right guard, I think, is a slot that's open for him.
Yeah, I can see completely why you've done that. Between wide receiver and offensive tackle was, I suppose, the debate with Delane off the board. But yeah, I fully like that pick, and there's a debate between him and with Spencer Fannin now with the short arms, whether they are potentially guards. So yeah, why not? And you can always say let them fail at tackle if you want to.
Yeah, I think if Mansour Delane was there, he would be the pick though.
Yeah. Me at 12 with the Cowboys. Yep, Delane would have been the pick. The two teams before has not wanted to pick him. Let's see, similar to the Bengals, it's got to be on the defensive side of the ball. Could sort of rule out defensive tackle. Would have loved the Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs to somehow fall to us, but not going to happen, really. So I guess it's sort of pick your poison.
Too early for safety talk?
I don't know.
There's one sitting there.
There's two sitting there.
He's done very well for himself.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Avion Terrell, cornerback.
Yeah.
I think it's the biggest need. The corners, as you said, we'll do our top 5 episode about them soon. Where you stack them after Delane. It's a bit close, but yeah, it's a bit of a need. Yeah, I think they'll hope the safety or the other safety will be knocking about at 20 when they pick again. So let's wait and see.
Yeah, it's really awkward to know how this corner class is going to play out, because let's say I don't think Jamal McCoy has helped himself. Avion Terrell didn't do much testing because I think we knew what was going to happen, but he looked really smooth in drills at the combine, and has inside-outside versatility, so I think you can do a lot with him. He is grabby, but he is physical also, so again, I think it is slightly early, but I think we're probably saying that about every player that we pick from here on in.
Yeah, true. And you mentioned McCoy. I think had he tested the combine, but he's done nothing. He's done
Yeah,
nothing for ages, does he? Just does a bad it.
Yeah, you can see why players don't do it, but I think teams think the same way. Instant you go, what is it you're hiding? And then you go digging through the tape to know, why was it that you didn't run the 40 or whatever. And in this combine, it was the fastest ever combine. I think part of that's because of the amount of people that weren't testing just in case, but also, why would you not have? You saw all these times going that you think, this track could be running slightly fast, that there was an opportunity there to you saw players that Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker from Texas Tech, who we were all expecting to test bang average, let's be honest, and came out and showed out. So there was money to be made, and there's definitely corners that have left money on the table, I think, last week.
Indeed. Okay, pick 13 with the Rams. Owen.
Yeah. Corner.
That's if the Rams
now,
don't trade it away.
Yeah.
Because they don't like.
Yeah. Corners now, not completely out of the question, but I think it is in the first round. I wouldn't be surprised if they do add more, but I don't think that happens here at 13. Whether they want to use day 2 or day 3 capital on another corner, then I can see it happening, but I don't think that happens this early. I'm tempted by offensive tackle. I'm also tempted by wide receiver. So I'm really debating here between whether and safety, to be honest with you. Are they still playing Cameron Curl? Is it too early?
Yeah, Cam Curl and Cam Kinchins, I think, were their safeties last year.
So do you add someone like Donathy Eneman here, or do you maybe go Spencer Fano and then you've got the option to play him at centre if you want to, because he's been doing reps, but also we don't have a receiver off the board, and adding Carnell Tate to that room. I mean, if the Rams want to make a play at the Super Bowl next year, they're looking at this pick. Just has to be the player they think will make the most impact on their team next season. So I'm going Carnell Tate.
Nice.
Yeah, they're not going to be picking developmental prospects.
No.
Traits. They want someone who's ready now. They're in that frame of mind that they've been in before. Let's load up. And it was interesting. I'd heard of one. You talk about them picks.
Yeah.
Over the last however many years it is, the Rams have made more picks than anyone else.
Yeah, and they've done a really good job at it as well.
They use their first round picks on proven commodities generally. And they use the other pick, and they just scout really well and use their other picks on guys who's going to fit around that. So yeah, they're in a win now mode. So Carnell Tate makes sense.
Yeah, it does indeed. Skew yourself at 14 with the Ravens.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to pick Spencer Fano, for the Ravens. They are reasonably set at tackle at the moment. They've got Rosengarten and Stanley as the tackles. It looks like Tyler Linderbaum is going to be out the door. They've not dealt a deal with him as yet. We've seen Spencer Fano take those centre reps, but also at guard, they've got Andrew Voorhees, who unfortunately is at times made of poppadoms and prawn crackers and likely to fall apart at any point. And I think the new coaching tree would be lynched in Baltimore if they continue to play Daniel Falele. The Baltimore fans hate him, and they think he's been terrible at guard from what I can find out about him. So Spencer Fano somewhere on that interior line, I think, would do nicely.
Yeah, I don't mind. Just pick an offensive lineman and then figure it out that you can do a lot with him, and he probably improves you at multiple different spots in whichever spot you choose to play him at. So yeah, I like that. The 31-inch arms has people worried. So you have seen him this week slip down boards, but there's no doubt the tape is quality, and it's not that you're going to see him compared to Will Campbell a lot because of the arm length, but the difference is on tape, Will Campbell's length was an issue, and we spoke about that, and you can watch the videos from last year on that. But I didn't see the same length concerns on tape with Spencer Fano, so that can maybe mitigate it. There's tackles.
It's how they use the frame, isn't it, and how they use the movement and positioning rather than just having the long arms.
Yeah, so it depends. Teams are going to have certain thresholds, but he's just one of those players. Just draft him, and you've got a good player for a long time.
Okay, myself with the Buccaneers at 15. I'm going to go Peter Woods, defensive tackle from Clemson. Caleb Banks last time.
We did go Caleb Banks.
Much applaud. So I'm sticking with a very similar-ish pick. Yeah, I think it's we're getting to the stage where it's difficult, isn't it? Where they could go maybe as a couple of receivers. Maybe now Mike Evans is out the door, or probably out the door. But yeah, Peter Woods to the Buccaneers. The Jets picking again at 16.
Yeah, so we've got Sonny Styles. What do we go with now? Defensive tackle is an option, although I think it's early for any others. We could even look at the edge rushers, but my eyes consistently drawn to wide receiver in this spot, especially with Mackay Lemon and Jordan Tyson still on the board. I'm going to go Jordan Tyson. The vibes around Mackay Lemon are worrying me right now, I have to be honest. That it wasn't just the podium session, which is very, very difficult to ignore, but you see many analysts who have inside sources. We don't claim to be that, but there's many people who do, who say the interviews were equally as weird. And so I think teams might be a little bit freaked out by him. So, he's been going top 10. Is there a slide on the cards? Possibly. So I'm going to go Jordan Tyson, who's apparently his medicals came back really, really good at the combine. So although we didn't see him on the field, as long as teams are comfortable with it, but he had clean medicals, which is basically what he had to go there and do. Which is that if that is the case and teams are happy with it, he's a top 20 pick all day long.
Yeah, the Jets' future quarterback will thank this pick. If they've got a two of a healthy Jordan Tyson and Garrett Wilson, it's a pretty nice 1-2 punch receiver there. So whoever comes into play for the Jets this year is going to be happy, but I think the Jets' future quarterback will be quite happy with that as well.
Yeah. Indeed, other than being drafted by the Jets. Stu, yourself at 17 with the Lions, who do you fancy?
I've struggled a lot with picks at times. This one I think is quite an easy one for me. I'm going to go for Olivia Iwani, the guard from Penn State. I think he's a really, really good player. We talked about how good he was on the offensive line episode, but he also is in an area of need as well for the Detroit Lions for me. They've got penciled in at the moment Christian Mahogany and Tate Ratledge for their guard spots, and they've just traded and got Juice Scruggs. I don't think any of that stops you playing Vega. Iwani, I think that none of that is going to be, we can't draft him because we've got these guys in the building. I think that he's a really, really good prospect, and he fortifies that offensive line for a team that want to probably get back to running the ball a bit more, being a bit more brutish than they have been last year. So he's someone that I would have no hesitation picking in the middle of the first round.
Yeah, and I think
nice.
With the Juice Scruggs trade, it just gives you coverage at centre as well, because you've got him and Ratledge, who can both play centre with Glasgow on the move. So it just adds depth. If anything, it certainly doesn't stop you. And I think Vega Iwani is a top 6 player in this class, so I think it'd be unbelievable value if you can get him at 17.
Okay, myself with the Vikings picking at 18. Say this every few picks, don't we? A team that really needs, I think, needs to pick on defense. I guess he's what to do. Be a bit Vikings in here. Let's go Jamal McCoy. They like a risky cornerback pick, don't they? They might have changed the ways now, but yeah, they don't mind boom or bust. Any bust. But yeah, incredible. You guys said it. Incredible talent. But yeah, he just hasn't played. He just hasn't. Apparently he could have played towards the end of last season, but didn't fancy it. Didn't want to risk it. That might put teams off. But yeah, he's obviously got big medical tests coming up, and he'll have to see how he looks his pro day. But yeah, incredibly talented.
Yeah,
fits a Viking.
Badly advised, highly talented, badly advised. I think is the best way to phrase it.
Yeah. And yourself, 19 with the Panthers.
Yeah, the board has fell really kindly for me because what I was hoping to do with this pick, I am able to. Not something you see often, but I'm going CJ Allen, the linebacker from Georgia, in this spot. I think he's a better prospect than we're currently taking him as, and although, say, he didn't do drills at the Combine, I just think what he offers you in terms of leadership and in terms of overall sideline range, physicality as well, that I think the Panthers would love CJ Allen. So in a draft where I think positional value goes out the window, especially in the first round, why not? I could see him going top 20, and if he does, then I think the Panthers would be one of those teams who are very, very interested.
I am the person who spins the wheel on this thing, and I'm going to stop letting Owen go in front of me because he's nabbed my next pick again. Because I would have easily taken him for the Dallas Cowboys, because they have a linebacker need as well. Yeah, they have a really big linebacker need as well. But I think, he is because we've got these top two linebackers everyone talks about, CJ Allen's almost forgotten about. He's a lot better than a lot of the linebackers we've evaluated over the last few years.
Yes.
But he's kind of forgotten about a little bit. So, Panthers, it's a need for that team as well. They just need, to get stouter on defense as well, and CJ Allen would certainly help with that.
There we go. Well, you can't pick him, Stu, but who are you going to pick for the Cowboys?
Yeah, so you were the last pick when you picked Aaron Terrell at corner. Again, I think Dallas, it's probably a defensive pick again. I think they go a 1-2 punch at the defense. It's just a case of who I think that they would go for and who I like as well. Yeah, let's take Dylan Thieneman.
Yeah.
Let's take the safety from Oregon. I think he's had a really good season. He's had a really good week at the Combine. He's tested well. He's looked the part. He's looked very, very fluid in the movements. And he could do a lot of different things from that position for the Cowboys. He's got the range to kind of play various alignments. He can come down a little bit and rove in that box as well. So, yeah, give him to the Cowboys and let them build up the secondary and start getting that a little bit better than it was last year.
Great. Okay, myself at 21 with the Steelers. What do they do? I'm going to take Mekhi Lemon. Yeah, bit of a character, it seems. But yeah, hell of a play. Probably Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? But yeah, one quick roller dice with Rodgers maybe. Lemon would help that. But yeah, there's quite a few characters there. That'll be fine.
They've made a habit of drafting receivers who are characters. It's just that Mike Tomlin's maybe not there to keep him in line now, but
Abercrombie's pretty sensible-ish.
Yeah, I think he's an interesting player, and I don't want him to fall too far because he is a really, really good talent, and I hope just he's maybe just a bit of a weirdo. There are people who are weirdos. That's maybe just him, and it doesn't make a bloody bit of jot of difference to how he's maybe just a bit weird.
Wide receivers tend to have this aura around them, don't they? So maybe it doesn't matter so much because it's just expected that receivers will have
something.
Something about them, an attitude that they are. Receivers tend to be that type of character, so maybe it isn't so much of a concern. But reading the tea leaves, I think maybe it is compared to others in this class.
We shall see. Fine, charges at 22.
Yeah. Don't know. It's awkward for them because defensive tackle, I think, is probably the biggest need, but I'm just not in love with any of them at this point, and it would probably be Caleb Banks, but then I'm thinking I'm not convinced that that's the type of player that Harbaugh would want to draft. And I don't think teams would particularly be impressed what they saw at the combine for what they would be from what they saw in terms of size and athleticism, but then to start on field drills and then leave because your cleat felt uncomfortable it's just not a good look. That I don't know how else to explain it. So I think teams would be like, hang on a minute, like how many players came out of the combine and said, yeah, I'm here to I'm competitive, I'm here to compete, I love competing, and then they don't. So that does worry me. If Ioane was here, then that would be a no-brainer. We've done Proctor before, so I don't want to do that again. Just to change it up a bit. Corner, is it a bit early for another corner? And what would be their type? Colton Hood, maybe. Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll do Akeem Mesidor from Miami, the edge. Bit off piece there. That was very random compared to everything else that we said here. There are some reports about a medical.
That was a scenic route to get there.
Yeah, it was the scenic route. You're right, but I just think that's maybe the type of player that I was trying to fish around for who fits in what they're trying to do and what they're trying to build. There are some reports on maybe some injury concerns coming out of the combine, but if they're clear, he's obviously a really good player. And I think he would be the type of player that Harbaugh would like to draft. So let's go Akeem Mesidor.
Yeah, I think him, and it would be him on one side and Tui Tuipulotu is it's not a bad, strong, kind of rugged partnership there. I think they would love a really top end defensive tackle, but would just not get him one yet. I think that they could draft someone in round 2 if they want to fill that space there.
Yeah, I did debate on while I was rambling. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren did go through my head, the safety from Toledo, that I think he would be that kind of thumping physical presence that they also would like. But no, we've gone for Akeem Mesidor.
Good stuff. Stu, yourself 23 with the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm kind of swithering between two players. So maybe just have Emmanuel McNeil-Warren was one of those players that I thought about because they are losing Blankenship, I think, who has been a safety for them for a while. I don't think they're bringing him back. The other one I'm thinking of is Caleb Lomu and grooming him as a successor for Lane Johnson, because he's not going to be around forever on that offensive line. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to take Caleb Lomu, the tackle from Utah, big, athletic, still has some refining to do in his game. And I think that the Eagles give him that opportunity to just bide his time a little bit, learn from one of the best that we've had for a long time, and then when the time's right, slot him in. They tend to like to do that, is to slot guys in when the opportunity is right for them on that offensive line. So I'm going to pick Caleb Lomu.
Okay, back at my self at 24, picking for the Browns again. Picked David Bailey earlier on. You touched on him a minute ago, Owen, on one of your scenic routes. We're going to go Caden Proctor, the tackle from Alabama. need for them. I think this is about the right time to sort of where he'll fit. And yeah, sort of talent poor team. I thought today actually, this was a trade they made with the Jags, and I imagine at the time last year they were thinking, oh, we'll be getting another top 5 pick here, but didn't quite work out. Jags turned out okay. So yes, that's the Browns. Now the Bears. Owen, bit of a difficult few days for the Bears. Lost the centre, traded away DJ Moore. Picked up a second.
Yes.
Complicates things.
It doesn't. I don't think they traded away DJ Moore because they liked how the wide receiver board was going to fall to them at 25. Like, it's just there's no way that you know that this far in advance. So, and the thing is that you're not taking a centre this high, although it is a good centre class. It's maybe like something you can do in round 3 or early day 3 even. It's funny how it works, isn't it? The 3 picks ago, I was like, it's far too early to take a defensive tackle, but then is this where the defensive tackle comes off the board? I'm debating between Caleb Banks, but I'm also thinking about TJ Parker because they just need more juice up front. But offensive tackle as well. That he's done for at least a year, isn't he? The left tackle from Boston College, who they drafted.
Ozzy Trapilo.
I'm not bad with my names today. Thanks for correcting me.
It's an offensive lineman. I was going to know it.
Yeah, he's done for at least a year, and so that's a potential need. But you can probably find a stopgap. Let's go TJ Parker. I said what I said before about Caleb Banks. It puts me off enough. I'm going to go TJ Parker.
Nice. Do yourself pick 26. It's the Bills.
Yeah, so they've obviously picked up DJ Moore for a second round pick from the Bears.
Yes.
I don't think it completely negates the need for a wide receiver, but I think it slows it down maybe in round 1. There is good receivers they can pick up on day 2. They could really do with some edge help, but there's nobody I'm really loving of the edge group that's left either. There is good players, but I'm not like, wow, I must pick them in round 1. So I'm going to go for someone who's done himself a world of good at the combine, tested really well, real leader, Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker from Texas Tech. I think it's a really good linebacker class, but he's really up there. They really have a need at linebacker. He showed everything he needed to testing-wise. Yeah, Jacob Rodriguez, let's go. There's a big ooh from Wine there.
Yeah,
Didn't see that coming.
I didn't. I love the player. That he was ranked 5th on my linebacker rankings, and maybe it was that was because I thought the athletic testing wasn't going to be great, and maybe he should have been. Well, that's something I'll probably end up playing about with. I'll be honest that he'll end up moving up because, but still the tape was the tape, right? He still wasn't the best athlete on tape. So, but he certainly answered some questions. They've got a decent linebacker room there at the Bills, haven't they? But you can't adding talent to talent isn't necessarily a bad thing. And if you value him this highly, then why not? Unexpected though.
Expect the unexpected.
Indeed. Okay, myself, pick 27 with the San Francisco 49ers. Let me think.
Yeah, wide receivers here. There's still a lot on the board, isn't there? Denzel Boston still there. Omar Cooper.
I'm going to go. I'm going to Kate.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to go Casey Concepcion. Like you say, an wide receiver. You're right. There's a handful that have rolled there and thereabouts. I think it'll be pick your poison. Yeah, they've got sort of other needs, but I think yeah.
Yeah, I think that's completely
I
fair value.
I like that pick because they have a need. Whatever's happening with Brandon Ayuk, who knows? Ricky
I don't think he's
Pearsall,
playing.
they need to kind of keep him healthy. But I think Kyle Shanahan would like to scheme the ball into the hands of Casey Concepcion, get him flying with the ball in his hands. Be a nice short passing yardage for Brock Purdy as well. I could see how he could fit in that team.
Okay, this time it is the Texans. 28. Owen.
Yeah. Offensive line all day long in every mock draft that's being done for the Texans.
You can understand
literally, they've traded away all the ones they had to begin with.
Yeah. But there's always a but. Not so fast, my friend. How about Eli Stowers, the tight end from Vanderbilt? Their tight end room isn't particularly very exciting, and CJ Stroud, while he needs protected, he also needs some more weapons. So I am tempted to think if you go offensive line, where you like Blake Miller, maybe Maxi Inacho, I'm just not sure that excites as much as them potentially going Eli Stowers, and I'm not picking just for the sake of trying to be unusual. I think there's a chance he goes late first, certainly early second. Yeah, why not? We'll go Eli Stowers. It would
Why
be
not?
I'm not the biggest fan. I've got Max Clare ranked ahead of him. I have real issues about whether he's actually a tight end or whether he is just a big slot option. But let's try it on, see how it fits. Let's go Eli Stowers, the tight end from Vanderbilt, to the Texans.
Do you know it's not so crazy because I can hear Sean Payton snapping his pencil because I think he would love him he'd be sitting there in the draft room because I could see him wanting Stowers because he's talked about this gadget tight end. He's talked about this. He called it a Joker player, and Stowers, he would love him. So it's not that unrealistic that he could go in that range. I just don't know. Yeah, the Texans are going to have to load up on day two and in free agency on offensive line because they traded away the ones that were playing and they weren't very good. So,
but again, that is one of those things that you can't go into the draft with a sort. They're going to have to fill it in free agency.
They're not going to be able to draft 5 linemen. No, they're not. But in particular interior guys, though, if they want to draft on day two, that's okay.
Okay, we go back to the Chiefs. The pick they got from the Rams. Trent McDuffie at 29. Hey, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a funny one. Trying to think what they do. They can do with fortifying the defensive line a little bit. They obviously have a need at corner now. They've got rid of Trent McDuffie as well. They like to have corners and get rid of them after a few years. So no second contract for them. So someone who they have 5 years control over is not a bad thing. It's just about what corner we think is the right one at that range. I have a cornerback I like more than the others, but whether the Chiefs would take him is my thought.
Are you still thinking Abney? I know you like Abney.
No. I've quietened on him a little bit.
Okay.
I
am glad.
Yeah, I really like D'Angelo Pons, but I don't think they're going to pick him. He's so fun.
What a guy.
And as
even
a slot
Brian's
receiver,
bigger than him,
but he's fun.
Yeah.
And I just think he is a bit too small, but could they play him in the slot and just let him be nuts?
Have you watched Chris Johnson properly yet?
Not fully,
Right. You get similar vibes.
but I think I'm going to go a bit safer, and I'm going to go Colton Hood. I think he needs cornerback help. He's a bit more a prototypical size. Yeah, Colton Hood. I'm going to go for Colton Hood as their second first round pick.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing cornerback rankings. There's a it's a good class, so I'm looking forward to doing that.
A lot of fun players to watch as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Johnson is a player that I like more and more than when I watched it. That Delangelo Pons, we're thinking, yeah, that's the guy I'm going to pound the table for, but Chris Johnson's there or thereabouts because you get a very similar vibe and a much more athletic profile than you do with Delangelo Pons. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talk about him.
Big teaser there. Myself at 30 with the Broncos. Yeah, maybe they don't like Towers or Casey Conception or something like that. I'm going to go Caleb Banks, defensive tackle from Florida. Bit of a need, and yeah, you can maybe get a receiver later on. Just see some knocking about, but yeah, Caleb Banks for the Broncos. Back to fine to the Patriots. Pick 31. I think I'll make it to pick 32 this year. Who do you fancy?
Yeah. Stephon Diggs out the window. I'm going to go Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana, who is just it could be a real field stretcher for Drake May. That yes, you could go on defense, which does need some improvement, and there are weapons to be had on day 2, but I think inevitably Omar Cooper Jr. goes higher than this. So I think he's a first round player. I think he'll go in the first round, so I'm going to take him here to New England.
Yeah, I've kind of looked a lot and just thought, where can we have him and where can we fit him? And yeah, he's a really good player. He's just about where does he fit, and I'm glad that he's gone.
Yeah, you can do so much with him, and I think he'll just open up the system there. So yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, to not have Denzel Boston go, it breaks my heart a little bit because I very much doubt he's going to go here to the Seahawks. But yeah, I think it's difficult with these wide receivers to know what order they'll go in and how they'll be valued because of how good the day 2 class is.
Q finishes off pick 32, the Seahawks.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm thinking about this one. It's quite a tricky one. I think someone to play in the secondary with Witherspoon and Iman Wari would, they're two really, really good players. They've got a lot of free agents. Pons would be funny with that group because it would be hilarious because they're all just mental.
Yeah, him stood next to Iman Wari.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof. Probably, I think I'm going to go Brandon Cisse as the corner option there. I think he would be someone that they would like in that secondary. I'm not sure he's going to be my favourite corner of the lot. Yep. I do like him, but I'm not sure he's going to be my favourite. But I think he might be more of Seattle's type of corner, and then what they like. So they need corner help. They've got a lot of free agents. They're not going to be able to bring back everyone in that secondary. So yeah, that's where I'm going to finish round 1 at.
Yeah, I think that's he is their type of corner. Not necessarily mine. I'm really now excited to get into corners because he's one of those. He's really traitsy, really athletic, but needs to be more switched on between the eyes, shall we say? So yeah, that's a lot of corners going in there in the first round as well.
Indeed, we should probably do our corners top 5 soon. What
It
do you
would
reckon?
make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Maybe we will.
We've had a few corners and safeties discussed already on this. It
We
could be good
have.
episodes.
We have good idea. Yes, we will. We will do that very soon. But yeah, thank you guys. That's another mark in the bag. Things will change, of course. But it's always fun to do. If you haven't already, check out our previous episodes. We mentioned our top 5s. We've done
Almost all of
2/3 of them so far. Yeah, and yeah, more to come. Corner, safety, quarterback. But yes, in the meantime, take care of yourselves. We'll be back soon. See you later.